welcome to Rich with Cars. On this week's video, I'm gonna show you guys around the 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. Now this, if I'm not wrong, is probably the last year of production for the Hellcat. It's been a crazy ride to say the least, and it's actually my first time I get to drive around and check out this vehicle. I've actually driven my friend's Charger Hellcat, and I'm sure that this is no different than the other one. So guys, as always, I'm gonna show you guys around the exterior, the interior, the trunk, engine, and of course, as always, driving impressions. So guys, let's strap in and take a look. So taking a look from the exterior, we're seeing that the Hellcat actually has a few air intakes to help cool that massive supercharger that sits below the hood. Of course, we have additional openings here in the front that basically cover the entire front of the vehicle, which continues all the way to the bottom. And then one of the coolest features that I've seen on the Hellcat, and they continue doing that until the end, have been these sort of air intakes. You have the daytime running light over there, but this actually acts as an air intake, and it happens on both sides, if you guys notice. So that's a super cool design feature of the Hellcat. And for the Jailbreak, to let you guys know, at least from what I see, they haven't really made massive changes or any changes whatsoever. We got a plastic sort of front splitter that definitely helps keep this car on the ground, because when you're accelerating with so much horsepower, you definitely need to keep that body down. And what I like about it is that this front splitter basically goes all the way up here, up the bumper on the front. We get to see the Hellcat badging over here, and if it was a Hellcat red eye, you'd actually see a little red portion here on the eye. We got these wheels that are basically 20-inch wheels wrapped in Pirelli P0s. And of course, we get to see the brake calipers there, but they're Brembos. They're a two-piece brake. As you can see slightly over here, I don't know if you can see it, they're slightly slotted. You got some nice performance brakes because this is a heavy car. I do like the actual design of the Hellcat on the side because you don't have crazy lines, crazy curves. Everything here on the side is pretty clean, as you guys can see. You have this massive lip spoiler with the denomination of SRT Hellcat on the top to show you guys that this is a powerful beast. I would have preferred if they would have done a little bit better with the exhaust housings or the exhaust outlets instead of that rectangular look that you see over there. It would have been a little bit better if they did something, you know, a little bit more prominent, at least in my opinion. From a design perspective, nothing too crazy on the Hellcat. You'll see some aspects or some design cues that will differentiate it from a regular Challenger. I kind of like the design of the exterior. It's got that classic muscle car look. And you know, this being, I believe, the last year of production, stick with what works. They have a huge following, Mopar. And of course, you know, it's been always true to their heritage. So let's take a look at the interior and see how that looks. Inside of the 2023 Hellcat Challenger Jailbreak, you guys will see that this is definitely not a luxury vehicle. It's just pure muscle, and I think they should have done a better job considering that this is you know, a relatively expensive car when new. They could have done maybe something a little bit better. Just to make this a little bit more special feeling from the interior. We get to see a three-spoke steering wheel, which is somewhat different than what you get on a regular Challenger. Of course, you get the SRT badging over here, and then of course a little bit of a flat bottom, but this is unfortunately plastic. You guys get to see the gauge cluster. So I do like the fact that the gauge cluster does retain sort of analog displays. You have a little bit of a digital cluster in the middle for additional information, and then you have your analog speedometer and analog tachometer, as you guys can see. And yeah, of course, just listen to that gorgeous supercharged V8. You know, you just get basic information, which is just good enough for this type of vehicle. Of course, you get Uconnect on this, which is, since it's a Dodge or Stellantis product, and Uconnect has always been known to be one of the better infotainment systems out there. I'm not a big fan of it. It just feels like it's a little bit complicated for me. but it is relatively responsive. I do like the fact that you can control your climate both from here and also physical buttons there at the bottom as well. You do have additional buttons below the infotainment screen here that allow you to control like your launch control, some of the traction control. You can turn off the screen if you want, your volume knob, tuning knob, and then your HVAC controls. And then of course you have your gear selector over here, which just doesn't feel that special, to be honest with you guys. Of course, this is plastic, it's not carbon fiber or anything like that. Once again, I get back to saying I wish they could have done something a little bit more special feeling. Couple of cup holders, and then of course you have your middle compartment over here with some additional space. You got a couple of USB-A ports with an auxiliary port as well, and your 12-volt power outlet as well. I do like the fact that there is some Alcantara here, especially on the seats and on the door cards as well. The seats themselves, you have SRT embroidery right on the backrest, which is something that makes you feel a little bit more special. And then of course you have some Alcantara in the middle with some leather on the sides. If it's actually leather, it could be synthetic leather, but nevertheless, the seats do feel comfortable, big, and they do hold you in place. The bolstering is a little bit wide for me, to be honest, both on the bottom and on the top. But nevertheless, at least you do have some bolstering, which definitely helps keep you in place. Both on the driver and passenger side, the door card itself, you do have some controls with the window, door, lock and unlock controls, some space there. And then of course you have large enough space to put yourself at least a 750 ml bottle, if not even slightly larger, but they made a specific spot there for your bottles as well. Now if we go towards the back seats, for such a large vehicle, I wish they could have done maybe a little bit better. As you guys can see, there is barely any space for your legs. At least they continued with the Alcantara theme for the rear seats, and you do have some armrest there in the back, and you also have some venting as well, as you guys can see, but no additional controls, just some climate vents, which at least allow you to do some stuff as well. Taking a look at the trunk space of the Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. Nothing too special. The interior lining is super cheap, even on the bottom carpet as well. They don't go out of their way to make this feel any more special than a regular Challenger, to be honest with you. And I'll show you guys in terms of the cargo volume that there is on the Challenger Hellcat. You do have a relatively large opening over here, so it does allow you to put some larger items. And in terms of like golf clubs, yeah, you can probably fit a couple sets of golf clubs in there. Aside from that, nothing else, to be honest. The other cool thing is the fact that you can actually fold down the seats over there to give you more space for any larger items. So yeah, that's the trunk space of the Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. So taking a look at the engine compartment of the 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak, we see a supercharged 6.2 liter HEMI V-8. And you guys can see that it's got a massive air intake to basically suck in all that cool air into this massive supercharger. And of course, this is the heart, and this is why you get a Hellcat, or even a Hellcat Red Eye for that matter, is all because of this. It's not because of the interior, it's not because of the exterior or anything. It's truly because of the power plant and the heart of this car, which is absolutely never ending in terms of how much it pulls. Aside from that, I want to show you guys some of the numbers. Despite the fact that you do have a lot of horsepower and torque, unfortunately you can't really put the power down that well. So the 0 to 60 numbers could be better, but because of the fact that you can't put all that power down to the ground, they're not as good as they could be. Show you guys some of the fuel efficiency numbers, which you probably won't care if you're getting this car, but at the end of the day, this car is all about its power and its soul that comes straight from this. All right guys, so driving the 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. I've been just driving this for about 5 minutes now, and the first thing that I can tell you guys is that it feels like a boat. This is definitely not a performance-oriented handling car. It's relatively heavy, but I can tell you that at least from a power perspective, yeah, this thing pushes. It doesn't feel very maneuverable, to say the least, but in terms of steering, it feels kind of numb. Suspension feels kind of comfortable, to be honest. Wow. So I can tell you guys, I was just going like literally 40 miles an hour. I just pressed on the gas a little bit hard, and the rear wheels just lost. So I can tell you, like I mentioned to you guys before, that this car definitely has the power, but in terms of putting the power down to the ground, it's not that great, because, like I said, just even going at 40 miles an hour and mashing the throttle at maybe halfway, not even 3/4, just halfway, the tail just started giving out. It's not that controllable, to say the least. You probably need a prepped surface in order to be able to put the power down with this thing. Like I said before, the steering is very numb, and it's not very communicative, and then at the same time, the steering is not responsive. So if, like, let's say I try to go somewhere, like there's a slight delay in the steering. So I'll tell you guys, at least from what I've noticed so far in driving this vehicle, what are the pluses and what are the minuses or the negatives, right? So the positives are of course the engine note, the power, and also the comfort. The suspension in this is absolutely great. As a cruiser, it's really comfortable, to be honest. Given the fact even that you have these large bolstered seats, all these things are very, very good as a daily driver. The negatives, though, are putting the power down to the ground, the steering, it's pretty bad, and also the transmission itself. When I mash the pedal, it takes a little bit of a delay to get that power down. Brakes are linear, and they're actually not that bad. I haven't actually tried to do an emergency braking, but let me try it right now. Yeah, brakes are really good, actually. Of course, I wasn't going super fast, but let me give the brakes another try. So I'm going now at 60 miles an hour. Yeah, brakes are good. Brakes are definitely good. I like the communication you get out of them, and they're pretty responsive as well. So not that bad, actually. So all in all, this is more of a cruiser than anything else, and then you can have some of your fun with it as well at the same time. To launch, press brake and quickly apply full throttle. Okay, so smoky tires right there. Wow. So I got to do some smoky tire action right there. Wow. That's some crazy stuff. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Let's try it once more. So to launch, press brake and quickly apply full throttle. Yeah, guys, this thing just has so much power. Like I'm even using like launch control, and my back wheels just keep on burning. That's crazy, and I don't want to do this often, but I mean, it's even as a launch. I don't know. I don't even know if the launch control is even that useful. I would actually just prefer mashing the throttle and that's it. Even that, like I didn't even use launch control there. I pressed on the brake a little bit, I put some gas, I was up to like maybe a couple thousand RPM, and tires are spinning. So I can tell you one thing, that this car is definitely a tire shredder. I mean, it's absolutely insane. This car is not very confidence inspiring because as soon as you mash the pedal, the back just gives out. And it's not very confidence inspiring because, first of all, traction is not that great. Second of all, handling ain't that great on this. You could have fun with it, but you better know what you're doing because otherwise you might be going all over the place. This car is a great daily driver with, you know, some fun aspects to it, of course, with the engine note, the supercharger whine, all that sort of good stuff. But I mean, you better be careful and you better be very responsible while driving this car because you could easily lose control driving this car. Like I said, you just lose traction very easily, and at the same time, because you don't have much communication coming out of the steering wheel, it's gonna be hard to know what the car is actually doing on the ground. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick overview on the 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. This being the last year of production, I think this is gonna be a classic car that is gonna be very sought after, and probably not as much as this 170, for example, but still being a future classic, at least in my opinion, because it's got that, it retains a lot of that muscle car feeling to it. And now with everything going EV, this is definitely a vehicle that you want to keep your eyes out on because it's there's not going to be much of V8s, especially supercharged V8s around there. So my take on it is that I think they could have done probably a better job in regards to the quality of materials, being such a special vehicle because of the powertrain. But aside from that, I think it was an overall great vehicle, especially from a muscle car perspective. It doesn't really handle that well. It gives you a lot of soul, and I guess you could say you love the sound that comes out of that. The power is absolutely incredible, mind-blowing. I want to give a huge thanks to Aston Martin of Orlando for giving me the opportunity of getting behind the wheel of this 2023 Jailbreak Hellcat. As always, guys, make sure to take a look at their website for their inventory. Specifically, take a look at this particular vehicle, see if it's still available, because I would not be surprised if it gets sold shortly after this video. So, as always, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for all the views, all the likes, and make sure to check out some of my older content out there. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.